noticed Bird didn't
Hello,
count.
everyone.
That's because I muted myself, so that there isn't like
God, this is the
600
intro
Shut
now.
up! I'm trying to speak.
This is
I just
the
peaked my
intro.
mic so much, dude. Holy shit!
Is this just how it starts? We just like count down and are
What's
right
up,
in there?
bitches?
You can just take it out. I just peaked my mic so much.
Yeah,
we're gonna
hey.
talk about monster
I'm a guy named Sparry, and I'm joined as always by my co-host.
I was really
Birdfacts.
hoping, I was really hoping one of you guys was gonna speak up, be like, Oxie, it's me. I'm the normal co-host.
In truth, I just froze.
And as you guys can hear, this is going to be probably chaotic. We're all on like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. We're joined by our sister podcast, our brother podcast. I don't know. XP Waste, Michael Oxie. Hello.
What's
hello,
up?
hello.
We bring you here today to grill you on bingo. How much fun we're having.
Grilled
We have some
about the
experience.
fun or grilled about some? What are we talking about here?
So normally we do like a bingo episode, talk about how we're feeling about it, because that's all we've been doing all week. So we was like, hey, we haven't had Michael and Oxie in a while. We could have them on for our episode.
I'm
That
biased,
could be
but
fun.
We're the best people to have on for bingo.
Yeah. So bingo is in full swing. We're like halfway through the event now, I think.
For those of you that don't know, I feel like this is worth explaining. This is relating to the TNL clan bingo. There is perchance a listener out there that is unaware of the XP Waste podcast and TNL. So I feel like that's worth explaining. That's it. I just wanted to get that out there real quick.
I think most of our listeners are probably aware of XP
I
Waste
would
and
agree,
TNL.
but
Like 95 out of 100 times when I click on someone when they join this server, it says their mutual servers include XP Waste. Or TNL, I should say.
that's
Unless
fair.
it's like someone we've invited from somewhere else, you know. But
We did also just have an episode on the Sebe cast, however. So it
That
is
is true.
possible that there are people that are like, man, I should go check that out.
I hope
yeah, if you're
so.
listening to this episode now, you should check out the Sebecast episode. That was a lot of fun.
I have yet to check it out. Do you guys have fun with it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. brother.
Sater's always fun to talk to. I'm looking forward to doing more collabs with him in the future.
Nice.
He didn't talk about mushrooms, which was
No, we didn't talk about mushrooms.
Refund.
No, wait,
Honestly?
actually, I'm trying to remember if he
we?
did. I feel like that, like, I don't know if it was specifically mushrooms, but I feel like some kind of substance got brought up now that I think about it. I don't remember.
Maybe.
Anyways.
It's been almost 2 weeks now. I've already forgotten everything we talked about.
That's
but
classic though. Like
Yeah.
we'll record, and if I don't edit that week, people ask me like, "Hey, did you mean what you said when you said this?" I'm like, "Can you point me to a timestamp? Because in one ear and out the
it's
other."
just a stream of consciousness, you know?
Yeah, I don't remember a word I said after I said it.
Sometimes it
What
is
were we
very
talking about?
obvious that we are just making things up as we speak. Like the sentence is forming as we're talking. You know, the thought.
Yeah. Yeah, in my day-to-day, I'm very careful before I speak. On this, I'm just like, yeah, thought goes in, thought goes out. No time to process.
People are here for.
Yeah. Otherwise, I end up with the problem I have with a lot of the early episodes where I just pause for like 10 seconds before actually saying anything in between every sentence and before responding. And that just sounds terrible. And it makes editing a lot slower. So I
Skill issue.
try not to do that anymore. Yeah. Anyways, how are you guys enjoying bingo as the two people having to run the event?
You can go
For
first, Oxy.
For the most part, it's been spectacular. I gotta say,
Mhm.
it has been everything that at least I had hoped it would be so far. We've been in talks about what we want for this bingo since like the Springo planning period. Like we have been trying to formulate ways to do this for a while, and so far the way it's shaping out is pretty good. We did have one like minor shakeup with the rules, but honest to God, compared to what we thought was going to happen, it was actually mostly positive. Which was cool. We don't I don't know. We don't have any like gigantic pushback over changing the threshold to unlock um more boards.
I was expecting to see significantly more negative pushback on that.
I was too. I fully was.
There
just
was
like,
some.
There was a little bit, yeah. There are some people who don't like rules changing. Period. For the sake of like game integrity. But I think on the counterpoint to that, if you wanted like a hyper competitive bingo, maybe go somewhere else. But at the same time, like this shit is neck and neck right now. You know, like if we go to the leaderboards right now, let me see the spread between the top teams right now. So like at the moment on Wednesday at like noon, first place has 271, second place has 268, third and fourth have 238 and 233, and fifth has 216. Like the competitiveness at the top is very much there, and there are people who are upset that like, oh, you know, you changed the goalpost, which like a fair enough criticism, but at the end of the day, I think it was a good choice because it helped people have fun. You know, I didn't want this bingo to be remembered as like, oh, they were pissed off about Springo, so they made it so uncharacteristically difficult that like no one had a good time. You know? But overall, 10 out of 10. I think it's going fantastic. What about you, Michael? How do you think it's going?
Personally, I'm indifferent because it's not how I imagined it would be playing on my Iron Man, at least with the spread of tiles that we had early on. And I so wish that we had the time and resources to be able to like QA test or like at least test run some of these events with like balancing and just making sure that like the tiles make sense in the order that we're giving them, especially when there's like a gimmick. I think Skill Tree Bingo did that perfectly. It wasn't too lopsided in terms of like solo content and group content, but this bingo was like very front loaded with not a lot of group content. My team is just now, I think we just now unlocked the Springo 22 tile or the Springo 22 column. I feel like this is where we start to break into the group content. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be a different story because we'll have already unlocked the whole board for everyone. And, you know, we can go and send a bunch of raids with no limitations on what drops count for what. So for me, it's been a bit lackluster in terms of like playing on my iron. And I regret to say that I think I front loaded wise, I probably would have had more fun on my main because I just can't do God Wars and I can't do the hard super hard raids, and there's just a lot of stuff that I've been limited to up until this point, but that all is going to change, and my second half of bingo might be a different story. But planning wise, it's been immaculate. I think that we had to change a bit of the structure midway. I was against that change, but I think that it actually turned out for the better because I got to level with you. We still would not have Fall 21 unlocked with our current point structure if we had kept it.
Yeah, it was rough. I'm going to be entirely honest.
It was very bad.
The first two columns, at least for like a lot of our total level lock players, just kind of felt like a slog. And then for the rest of us, we were kind of just stuck at doing like, me and Scotty spent the first day, literally the whole first day, just doing Kriara. And then the second day was us like trying to scrounge up as many points as we can without like resorting to trying to get 3 raids uniques.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the logic that we had initially, and this is where I think we made the mistake, right? The initial logic was like, we are basing the scores off of 60 points per column because every column is worth 55 points plus a 5-point bonus if you get the entire column done. So we kind of like arbitrarily almost for the first time like applied numbers to it. We're like, all right, this is a pretty good spread. They need about 50 to 60% of the board in total in order to unlock anniversary, and we think that's going to be obtainable. But what we didn't realize was the extra 10 points that we were factoring in came from blackouts, right? And then some tiles were made more difficult after the board was completed. Like what's the one tile? Dog Show, Metamorphic and Sanguine Dust. It's a dust tile because 6 Jads, once you have an Infernal Cape, is pretty free. So I thought to myself, well, if it's a 10-point tile, why don't we actually make it worth 10 points and we have them do it wasn't a fluke? And I don't even have that combat achievement done. I heard AP spent 9 hours going for that CA, which I think balance-wise is good, but I think when you put so many things that are meant to be long-term grinds early, right? It's not like a harmful logic, right? We opened up pets early because you can get a pet whenever. You can get a jar whenever. You can get agility XP. Warhammer takes a long time. The idea was that you would be progressing through the boards without needing these tiles. And that was our error because turns out you needed those tiles to move on. And I think in hindsight, I don't know if I would have moved the position of the tile because let me tell you, it feels like shit to get a jar before you start, right?
Yeah.
Like it always feels bad to get a big drop before that tile is open. But I think the way that we changed the point threshold made it so much more obtainable for people. And it's just more fun, you know? At least I hope it's more fun. I hope people are having a more enjoyable time with it. So we definitely did, you know, make some mistakes, and I'll take that one. I'll take the shit for that one because I don't think we put as much math into it as we should have for the first set of numbers. But in the second set, I mean, Michael can tell you, we were in VC for a good period of time trying to like lock it in perfectly because we were stressing about it. I think I texted the group at like 8 o'clock in the morning. My team had like 97 points. We're going for the agility tile. And I'm like, all right, guys, here's the deal. When my team gets 100 points and opens up the next board, how do we feel about lowering the point threshold? Because I don't want to make it look suspicious that my team, quote unquote, can't do it, you know? Because as an admin, that's whether or not people think it happens, it always does. There's always suspicions about Michael and I's teams every year.
There shouldn't be. We were in last for a long time.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, like, it's a competitive event, right? Like the prize pool for this event is massive. When there's that kind of money and that kind of like competition on the line, if there's a thought that somebody can get an advantage, people are immediately going to be against the idea, right? That's why stacking is such a big deal. My people hate it so much because stacking gives an inherent advantage. And we tried to mitigate that and people have been really good about it. But unfortunately, I don't know what you want me to tell you when it comes to people like Michael, Tiki, myself, Rune Guy. Like the choice is either we don't play bingo or you don't have an event that is as technically superior as this one is right now. Because having played in bingos from other communities, nobody does it like we do.
Yeah, I've talked to other people that have played in other bingos before, and like for the most part they don't have like sheets that automatically update and like all the fancy tech you guys got. It's mostly just like here's a PNG in a text document, have fun.
Yeah.
But you brought up two things that kind of, I have two topics I sort of want to talk about. First one was you were talking about like some of the longer grind tiles early on. And we were referring to those kind of as like feels bad tiles because there's a lot of tiles where we didn't want to go for them early because later on you would unlock similar content or similar like drops from the same boss. It was like, it feels bad to do raids now when you could then go back and like, you know, do the lesser purples along with the dusts.
It felt bad to be like, all right, looks like I'm looking to get a piece of armor from every raid and nothing else, and there's more shit we have to get from raids later.
Yeah.
Like I could tell that there was like an idea of like, oh well, we should put the things that you would like work towards through the entire bingo at the beginning, which makes sense when you think about it from just like a gameplay standpoint, but makes no sense when you think about it from like a point threshold standpoint, especially with the original way that the point thresholds were set up very aggressively.
Exactly. Yeah, and we overtuned the fuck out of the points, which is unfortunate. I'm glad we were able to fix it. I'm glad we didn't get too much pushback because ideally, right, like the goal, and Michael can tell you this, we stressed for months that like this has to be fun. You know, like
Mhm.
I was a bit of a bitch about Springo and I did not have as much fun as I was hoping for. Um so for months we're like, dude, this has to be fun. This has to be like a knockout fantastic event. And I think with the goal of like these things you have to go back to incrementally, right? Because it feels bad to like really want to learn how to raid and then be on a team full of like hyper efficient raiders who get the raids tile done on the first day and then you get nothing. Like it just feels
Mhm.
kind of bad. So the idea is like you constantly get to keep going back. But yeah, the way we structured some of these tiles, I don't know which ones I would necessarily move around. I'll probably we can look into that when we have the feedback data afterwards. But yeah, I think it comes
Yeah.
for me. It comes down to the thresholds far more than it does the position of the tiles. But
Mhm. Yeah, the changes to the point thresholds, I think, definitely alleviated a lot of the problems. Because it feels bad for like Scotty or some other people on our team that were mostly just playing on the weekend and we're stuck doing like Kriara with me rather than CMs with the boys or something.
yeah, and I
But
do apologize. I wish we would have caught that sooner, and I wish we could have made the change on Sunday instead of Monday, so people still would have had more time.
mhm.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, but it's been fun now that we have like
Stuff to do.
most of the board unlocked. Yeah, we're on Springo 23 at the moment.
Nice.
Bird and I are both at the Redwoods just
Yeah,
chopping.
I was admittedly surprised that there, like, I guess people probably wouldn't say this exactly, but I was kind of surprised there weren't a lot of people that were like, well, I don't want the changes to go through because our team has actually unlocked a lot of the board, and the other team's unlocking more boards is going to give them a competitive advantage over us. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the captain's chat. Maybe somebody did argue like that, but
I
There wasn't
mean,
a lot of it. It was mostly just like I don't want the rules to change. Maybe that was the
yeah,
reasoning behind that thought, but
there were some debates at the top of the leaderboard about like, hey, what the hell? You're suddenly making it easier for everybody else. But
mhm.
what I really appreciated from the folks at the top who were in like the first five positions were like, hey, you know, we're 16 of 500 players and it's going to be way more
Yeah.
fun for everybody else. Like, I get it. I don't love it because now we've got like 19 more teams on our ass, but like, it's a good change, which I'm very happy with that it went over as well as it did. Because Michael can tell you, I was fully ready to spend Monday evening getting shit all over. It just didn't
Mhm.
happen. So
Were we in 5th place at that point, Bird, or was that
we
after
were
the
no, we were
point
fifth or
restructure?
sixth before the rules change, and then the rules
Okay.
change happened, and then we plummeted
Yeah,
because
okay.
a bunch
Yeah,
of
now we're
people
in like
suddenly had a
13th
bunch
or
more
12th
stuff.
or something.
Because
Yeah, we're actually doing pretty well.
we got
I'm
decently lucky with the first couple columns there, so we were able to progress a lot more quickly,
yeah.
which kind of just gave us an advantage.
mhm.
But in kind of a sucky way for everybody else because it's like, okay, well, we just happened to get lucky early, so now we have access to more
Mhm.
stuff.
We were in the same boat. I think my team was in like third or fourth when the
Mm,
change went live. So,
yeah. The other thing you were talking about stacking, it reminded me pre-bingo, a lot of the people can't were DMing me asking like what they should do before bingo to like prepare.
mhm.
And for the most part it was just like do quests, do your achievement diaries, if you have any like training that you need to do for your combats if you're close to like strength levels or prayer thresholds, that kind of stuff. And I was just like, that's kind of generic advice. I wonder what like people on Reddit say for like bingo prep. And oh my god, every single thread I found was just like stack a bunch of caskets, stack a bunch of mini game points, and I was like, huh, I guess that's not the norm. I guess the norm is just stacking. Which
the norm
seems
is
kinda stinky.
efficiency, right? Like
Yeah.
the norm is to play efficiently, and it's most efficient to get points very quickly. But I don't
Is
know.
it fun to play bingo before bingo starts though? Like
Yeah, I've never really understood that.
It's fun to feel like all of your hard work meant something, and I think that's why people
guess
get
it's
pissed
fun
off
to
when
win.
we can't stack. Right? Like
Yeah.
I put all this time into getting like 20 Skatizo totems, which is like
Mhm.
hours in the catacombs. You're telling me I can't use them for anything when you put a Skatizo head tile on the board? What the hell, man? Like,
That's not true. You can just use them slowly over the event and pretend like you got them during the
I
event.
suppose you could, and
Uh.
that's the other thing, right? Is like the trouble with not allowing stacking is that it goes on the honor system. You know, back when these events were
Yeah.
only like 50, 60 players large, we could say, I mean, we technically can't police it, but like fucking do whatever you want. And then skill tree bingo rolled around, and we had our first like super competitive large scale event, and we
Mhm.
had casket gate. People just lost their minds, and it's like
I remember that, yeah.
I guess we can't do the stacking thing anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fundamental difference between the people that are very competitive and the people that aren't. The people that aren't very competitive are not going to be stacking, and the people that are very competitive will be. And because the people that didn't, they're going to see all these people just like getting a bunch of shit done like instantaneously in the event, and it just feels
Mhm.
bad. It's like,
Mhm.
well, my team
Just
doesn't
zooming
get
ahead.
that because we didn't do that. Like it just feels terrible. So I don't know. Because like simultaneously the people that aren't very competitive, so like do they care a ton? I don't know. It's a weird issue just overall.
It's tough because TNL, for better and for worse, has such a diverse spread of players, um, that it's hard to really lean a bingo in either direction. You know, like you lean it towards the competitive end, and the amount of low level players, like on my team alone, uh, who are like, I don't think I can do too much, you know, and the board is
Mhm.
pretty accessible to everybody, is disappointing and surprising every season. And I feel like if we turned it up and we're like, all right, this is like TNL Hellscape 2025, the bingo is meant to be very difficult. I don't think we'd get nearly as much turnout because I think a lot of people without a lot of PVM experience would assume that they won't be helpful. Um, so trying to make it equal for everybody while also, and this is what I stressed after Springo, was like, we have to make it interesting for the end game players too, because the end game players will drag low level players to do content, and then they will learn more stuff and have a better time. So if we want to make it accessible and fun for low levels, we have to make it fun for high levels too. Like that's kind of how the ecosystem in bingo works, right? Like I'm sure
Mhm.
all three of our teams have experienced like you got 1810 total level and your best weapon's a regular trident. Fuck it. You want to learn theater of blood? Like everybody has done something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I think
We were dragging
every
some of
bingo-
our learners through 300s the other day.
I think I haven't done this bingo yet, but every bingo I pretty much drag a bunch of people that are like, well, I've never done a raid before. And I'm like, you can do chambers as Eric. You don't even
Dude,
need to tell me what gear you have.
we opened with a mass chambers, and the first tile submitted was we took one of our total level lock people who got a chambers PB because they had never done it before. That was the personal best that we submitted. And like it's a lot of fun as a high level player because the whole time players are like, oh, I'm sorry I keep dying. Oh, I'm sorry I don't have this. The whole time you're just like, brother, it doesn't fucking matter. Just
If
die
I
and
wanted a
keep
bunch of
coming
points
back
this
in.
raid, I wouldn't have raided with you. Like,
Yep, we
Yeah.
would not be on, and I kid you not, an 11-person learner raid to start the event if we were going for purples. And then I also like to follow it up with like, hey, this is a dog shit environment to learn raids. If you want to learn like for real, we will send smaller teams with more like concentrated teaching. And it will feel a lot better. Like we just got done with a TOA session with a guy who had like 5 or 6 KC. And the improvement over like 2 150s is pretty cool to watch. So
Yeah, we did. I think the first raid we did this bingo was me doing a learner raid with one of our total level locked, and we got a fang split for that, which was nice to see on a little 65 invo raid.
Jesus Christ, the purple and the 65. There ain't no way.
The
Yeah.
chance for the
Yes,
fang
sir,
and the
yes,
light
sir.
bear is very, very good in those low level raids.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down to the only fangs tile. We're gonna be running fucking stupid like 50 invo TOA. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I feel like for stacking, the only way to really beat it is to like carefully design all your tiles to not have anything that's stackable in it, but then that makes it so you can't do so much content.
Yeah, I was
Tried
gonna say
that.
Like basically
we
no
tried
mini
that.
games, no clues, and yeah.
We tried that. Springo 24 was
Yeah, I
you can
remember.
stack, but there's nothing to stack, and that was
Yeah.
not fun.
In
Yeah, it just
hindsight, I think
limits
that
what you
felt
can
really
do.
bad. Because it was unfortunate that like all of the tiles that we really like have come to love, we couldn't do. Like booty call has medium clues on it. We can't do booty call. We
Mhm.
can't allow like so many pets because they're technically stackable. People are getting 1 KC Jad pets and Nibbler pets, and we just can't allow any of it because technically you could stack it and get a pet for a bonus point. Like,
Stacking fire capes, that's insane.
well, like
I mean, to
it's
be
not
fair,
Yeah,
I
it's
literally have
possible.
like I think 12 fire capes in my bank right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
'Cause
It's
I
not
just-
like an
I just keep
intentional
mine.
stack. Yeah, it's just like you do them, you keep
Yeah.
them. Why not? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't want to sit here and talk about Springo because I think we are well past it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have learned that like, and this is our way to combat stacking is like, you have 100 clue scrolls in your or caskets in your bank. Awesome. The first tiles that require clues is the Warp Scepter unique, which you can't even do as a max player. It's total level locked. And then you get
Mhm.
clues on various boards as the bingo progresses. So it's almost a hindrance to have stacks because you can't progress if you don't pop your stacks. But if you pop your stacks, then what happens to the future tiles, right? It's actually funny. The Springo 24 board where we have to get the exact same clue steps you did in Springo 24, it was stackable all along. Teehee. That ironically is like the least stackable clue tile on the thing because if you get a step that requires a heraldic piece on day 1, you just don't get to do hard clues anymore.
Well,
Mhm.
Like you can juggle it. You can juggle it every single hour for the next 4 days. Like that's kind of
Just
ridiculous.
I mean, listen,
Don't
I've seen the people out there
underestimate-
that have their fucking like 600 clue scrolls sitting in the ground of the fucking crafting guild, and they're still like doing raids. It's like, huh? What?
I did that for the first time yesterday. I did
Oh.
14 easy clues in 10 minutes or whatever. It wasn't that quick, but like it felt that quick.
Mhm.
It's crazy. I've never done that kind of stacking before. It's a different animal. It's fun.
I refuse to
did-
drop clues on the ground and do that. It just I
did like
hate it so much.
12 Skatizo totems recently because I needed a bunch of shards or whatever the purple crystals are for my Arclight.
Mhm.
And I had a bunch of Skatizo sitting around. I was like, okay, these are basically just free ancient shards sitting in my bank. So I did all of them. But between kills, I was like, man, I don't want to have to de-gear, do this clue, and then re-gear, and then go kill Skatizo again. So I dropped every single clue that I got in the crafting guild. And that was my first, like, okay, I now have, 12 hard clues and, like, 7 elite clues on the ground. Now I need to do all these.
I will say that has kind of been my go-to with easy clues. Because I had to, so before bingo, I got a master clue step that required flared trousers. And I found the
Mm.
easiest way for me to do it was I just get like 10 to 15 easy clues from ham members. And then instead of doing the clue, getting my inventory set up, doing the clue, or sorry, getting the clue, getting the inventory set up, and then like changing it again just to go back to ham members and potentially get one a second later and have to do it all over, my ADHD brain, it works better for me to just like bang out 15 at a time, put them on the ground, and then the task is now I do all of them at once. So I kind of like the fact that they allow them to stay on the ground for an hour, but even then I think that's a band-aid fix to the whole
Yeah,
stackable
that's.
clues
I mean, because the whole
debate.
reason that exists is because you could essentially do that via death piling, and then they got rid of death piling, so they just made it so clues last an hour.
Yeah.
Which has just become the de facto way of just stacking clues. So they basically, somewhat unintentionally, possibly intentionally, I'm not really sure, added very easy stackable clues to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think my conjecture is that they didn't really realize the implications of what they were doing. And then now we have ended up with all this where it is, that max player with the entire floor of the crafting guild covered in like 700,000 clues,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Well,
just
it makes it
it's just
nice.
terrible.
There are small quality of lives involved with it. With like if you're doing your Slayer task and you don't really want to re-gear, just go and drop it somewhere, and then
Yeah,
once you're done with your task,
it is
then
very
you
nice,
can.
but it's the nice part is that clues are stackable in this strange way, right?
Yeah,
And if
again,
they were
band-aid
just
fix.
stackable in like a normal
The
way,
regular
such as the
way, yeah.
League's way or some other solution that they come up with that
Scroll
doesn't have an
boxes.
hour timer attached to it, essentially.
Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
be nice.
At my maxing party, I dropped 2 master clues, and in the fray of the maxing celebration, forgot to pick them back up.
Oh no.
I just lost 2 master clues like off the rip.
Damn, dude.
That reminds me,
GZ on max,
I
by the
need
way.
to. Oh yeah, GZ, huge.
TYTY.
I need to change.
Unfortunately, I
the,
was stuck at work all day that day.
I
You
saw
heard it
that-
here first. The Guthix Rest podcast hates the XP Waste podcast.
It's
and
true.
Did not come to
It's so
Oxie's maxing
true.
party.
I was sitting. I don't remember what I was doing, but I saw all the people in VC for your maxing party, and I was like, "Damn, that's too many people. My head's gonna explode." So I just didn't show up.
Honest to God, I'm a level with you. If it wasn't my maxing party, I would have done the same fucking thing. And it's so funny for me. Like you guys are probably aware at this point. I don't love being the center of attention. Period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the reason why I was so excited to get everybody there for the maxing party was to show off the bingo trailer. Like I,
He had an
honest to
agenda.
God, 100% I had an agenda. I was like, oh my God, guys, we're going to have a pre-party. We're going to pull all our stacks and do all this fun stuff. Yay, maxing party, bingo party. The whole goal was for people to pull all their stacks, have a great time, and then say, you guys want to see something cool? And then put up the bingo trailer. So then people are like, oh shit, like, A, I don't have any more stacked items, which sucks. And B, like, let's go. This is so exciting. So I think that got across. People seem to like the trailer quite a bit.
It was pretty epic. And you
It was
found
good.
the tiles that I hid for you?
Which was insane, by the way, dude. Okay, so I went to Max Island early in the day to record some stuff for the bingo trailer. I just like put a Maxscape on with the Fashionscape plugin and recorded some B-roll. But when I record B-roll, I have to turn like 20 different plugins off, like boost information, FPS control, tile indicators, and then ground markers are one of them. Years ago, Michael, when he was in Michigan, went around and put a bunch of random ass tiles around the game. For like, there was one tile I found like a year ago. I was pissed about it. This man went to Prif, went on top of the course, and put a tile that said, I see we're finally training agility, smiley face. And I didn't see that bitch for a year. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was so mad. But when I went to Max Island, I had all the things turned off. So I didn't see any of the tiles. And then when I went back later at night with everyone who was going back to the emote together on the same tick, I had ground markers turned on and I zoomed out and I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? Because I hadn't seen it earlier in the day. And Michael left me like a GZ on maxing like 2 years in advance, which was pretty cool. So yeah, no, I did not see those tiles the first time I was there. Totally missed them.
That's good. I knew 2 years ago that you probably would never go to Max Island without a Maxscape, even if you could. So I tried to hide them in such a way that like you could only see them from Max Island.
which is fucking hysterical because you were absolutely right. And the thing is, like, I didn't even have the ability to get to Max Island for the longest time because I didn't have 99 woodcutting, you know?
Oh,
So even when I had
Mm.
99 mining and all that, like, I didn't get woodcutting until like 2 months before. And I think the only maxing party that I was at was D4 Drakes. And by the time I got there, I showed up late and they had already gone to the island. So it's like, I truly just never went with anybody. I don't know until I went for my own. That was the first time I was on the island. It was for the footage and then for my own Maxscape. So
and if you guys are confused, me and Oxy did a meetup in Michigan for XP Waste.
I think it was
And
episode 99. We was in person.
wait, was
right?
it?
It was episode
Was that
99.
the first time?
Well, yeah, because that was the one where you and I got
Think so.
belligerently drunk in my apartment. Yeah.
Oh, it was. Okay, so I went to Oxy's like I went to Michigan so we could do episode 99 together. And he was like in the shower or making breakfast or something. And I snuck on his computer, logged into his account, and I just hid tiles everywhere. And it may have even been I was on my account, but on your RuneLite profile, so that I could because across profiles,
Mhm.
the stuff stays. So I
Mhm.
think that may have been what it was, but
I think that is what it was because I wouldn't have been able to get to Max. I could not have gotten to where those tiles were on Max Island at the time you did that. And I think I was in the shower or something. And I remember because you joined VC on my profile that day. Like you
Yeah,
joined
yeah.
VC, connected as me, and then we're like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And people were like, "What the hell? What does that mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense." Um, and this he left some at like the GE. He left one at Cerberus. That bitch left one at Priff. Well, Michael was in VC with me that day. I was shook when I found the Priff one.
So
So
good.
he said there's still tiles I maybe
I feel
haven't
like
found.
I can't remember.
I
It's
don't
been a
know.
while.
We'll see. We'll see. But
Turn up someday, maybe.
You're gonna be doing
That's
like
a fun
RuneScape
little
hide
Easter
and
egg.
seek or something. You're gonna go to some like super obscure place and find one.
I arguably I could have done more, but I don't think I had that much time. If I had more time, would have done a lot more sneaky ones.
Gonna
But
get
the
him
Perf one
back
was
one
good. You
day.
got to admit.
I'm gonna get him back one day. Do the same thing he did to me with Priff. I'm gonna put it on the tile you landed in the Inferno. I'm just gonna say, "Took you long enough." Smiley face. That's
So good. That'd be so good.
Just so you know, for the future, to save you some time, in RuneLite, you can set up multiple profiles at the top next to the configure thing. So you can set it up so that you can just click one button and it'll swap all of your plugin options
Yeah,
from one to another.
I have a profile
Oh.
that turns off all the visual effects for when I'm recording random stuff around the game.
Look at that, Oxy.
I
QOL for you.
did not know that actually because I learned about RuneLite profiles when I got my new laptop the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And had to like sign in and do a bunch of crazy shit. And I basically had to like rebuild my RuneLite
Yeah.
and then make a profile. And then this is the one I play on. No, I think it was when I got my PC. I had to do that because I had my old laptop on RuneLite, whatever it was. And it's
Yeah, I
the
think they've-
profile that I've been using.
Yeah, I think they've updated the way the profile system works since then. So now you can make a bunch of local profiles that aren't necessarily attached to like a login to the client.
which is fantastic because I would love to not like. I'll send it to the broadcasting chat, like the plugins I have favorited. They're not favorited for gameplay purposes. They're favorited because for the last month, I have needed to turn them on and off so many fucking times. Like, I think between October 1st and November 1st, I made like 23 videos. And I'm so glad Bingo has started. And I don't have to do that anymore.
No more hiding sneaky messages for us.
That was fun. You got to admit, that was fun.
It was fun, yeah. I only solved like 1.5 of them. I let other people suffer for the rest of those. They were fun though. I like ARG kind of stuff. So that scratched an itch for a little bit. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean?
Yeah, no, that was. I think like I was so bored and like, not bored, like I was tired with those videos. They're exhausting to do one every single day, and the puzzle was so goddamn hard in the last one that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it super obvious for everyone to see. Like, I don't care. I'm just gonna scroll the numbers across the screen. People can pause it and put them together, and they'll figure it out eventually.
And it still took longer than all the other ones.
Well, yeah, because dude, Tiki was the fact that it wasn't even that he was mad at you guys; he was mad at his bot. Because
yeah.
the bot gave the wrong response. Like the bot spoiled the book cipher from Arachnids of Imperium, and he had talked about kind of developing a coordinate clue, but he wasn't finished with it yet. So when he took the code word "Happy Anniversary," which was the phrase or whatever, he was like, "Do you think I can make him go to Tutorial Island?" Yeah, I'm gonna make him go to Tutorial Island. He's like, "I wish there was a way that I could do it, like out of whatever. Like I wish I could have them go underground with like negative numbers, but I think that might be too obvious." He was just going all over the place. He was going mad. So I'm just like, yeah, we'll make it obvious for people. And it wasn't obvious. It actually took a pretty goddamn long time. But you know.
Yeah, I saw Swole was working away on that, and I considered a few times like, should I also work on this? I'm like, I'll just let Swole have at it. He'll get it, I'm sure.
It probably took as long as it did because it was a one-man show. After somebody figured that it was coordinates, he was basically, I think, the only one working on it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People were like, "Oh yeah, I think it's coordinates," and they had it, and then for some reason, people were like, "Nah, coordinates doesn't seem right. Let's keep on going." We're in the planet jet. Like, no, you're so close.
I don't know if I would have gotten the one that got spoiled if I didn't have something to work backwards off of.
Yeah.
It took longer than it really should have because I was coming at it from like a slightly incorrect way, trying to use all of the books. And that wasn't really how. I don't think he used all the books. I think it was only one of the books for that puzzle.
Well, yeah, I took the footage and I'm like, I'll just do an entry mode and I'll have the books on the ground. And that'll be what I go for. And then I did it with just Arachnids of Vampire. And I'm like, this seems super obvious. Let's ruin their lives a bit. So there was a shot of the Shadow Realm book. I think I didn't hit record because I wanted to do the hunt from Zarpus or whatever. That book. And then I also wanted to have a shot, which I think I also missed, of the patient record from Verzik Vitur. I just wanted to put all of them in there. I'm like, yeah, fuck them. They'll figure it out. But you only needed Arachnids of Vampirium. And I was screaming in the captain's chat, Sparre. You were so close, like a day prior. This man goes, yeah, so on the 16th page, on the 13th line down, the second letter is X, but I don't know where the 1 comes from. I'm in the back. Like, it's the first letter of the sentence. It's the first word of the sentence. Sorry, please. Yeah, you're so close.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like counting down, and yeah, I was coming at it wrong because I thought that one of the numbers had to correspond to the book, which was completely throwing me off.
Oh, that makes sense. Like if you thought all 4 books or 5 books were used, the extra number had to be something.
Yeah. And so if I had realized sooner that no, all the books weren't needed, I would have gotten to that solution so much quicker.
Bro, we theory crafted some crazy stuff, and I don't want to spoil too much because we may end up using like these puzzles later, but we were even considering like IRL books.
I wanted to use the 20-year anniversary book so bad.
Okay, I guess we can spoil it.
Well, like there's no more puzzles. The puzzles are done.
What if we do puzzles like
out,
later?
Bingo's over.
We can't use that book again.
Oh man, I wanted to use it so bad, and then Tiki had to talk me down and be like, the deal with puzzles is like everybody has access to them. I so badly wanted to use it because I'm like, that's so memorable. You got to go behind you on the shelf and get the fucking 20th anniversary book out and figure it out. But
the problem with stuff like that, I helped moderate a large server with like 5,000 members in it, and we did an ARG for April Fool's one year. And one of the puzzles involved needing a real book. And we made sure there was like an online version for free that people could find. But like people were pissed about having to get a real book for this or even just find a PDF of it. I don't know what it was. People just hated that there was a real component to this online ARG.
Well,
But I did DM Tiki some ideas for puzzles next time
Ooh.
because I do like a good ARG.
good. We can have 2 people ruin bingo folks' lives.
yeah.
Swear and I are both DMs, so we're both very familiar with coming up with stupid bullshit puzzles.
So is Tiki.
Listen,
Yeah.
that is opening up puzzles for 5th graders and hoping that it's not too hard for my players.
I've definitely made real puzzles. So, I don't know.
I have too, but sometimes the simplest puzzles just stump people.
It is incredible how you can put a challenge that a 3rd grader should be able to solve in front of a D&D player with like a couple of fantasy elements added to it, and it is simply unrecognizable at that point. They will just be unable to figure out, like they'll forget what the alphabet is. I swear to God. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
it's
I
incredible.
had a puzzle once that was just like a poem about dwarves, and it was like, oh, this is their favorite thing in the world, it's the tool at their side, and my players were naming every single mythological hammer that exists in the D&D lore. They're just like,
It's
I'm like,
pickaxe,
no,
right?
you just need to say the word hammer. They really like hammers, please. And
it's a
I don't know
humbling
what it is.
experience. It's a humbling experience to be like, yeah, no, I have a master's degree and I don't understand how to count backwards from 10. Because I've been bodied by some D&D puzzles before because I'm a shitter. But
yeah, I think it's just like if you don't think about it from a certain angle, sometimes your brain's just like, no, it can't be that,
That is truly
couldn't be.
the root of all evil when it comes to solving puzzles is just deciding that it can't be that. Because every time you do
that's
that,
true.
you have possibly doomed yourself to never being able to figure out the puzzle.
And we saw some of that, and we like struggled really, really hard with, do we give them hints? Because if you could see the planning chat whenever people were close, it was like nail biting. And
the
then
amount of times I sent the
swerve.
the Walter White gif of him in the car screaming, dude, all the time. I was begging people to just keep getting closer, but
Otis says that escape rooms even give clues. Yeah, so it's like it's not
That's
a bad
escape
idea
rooms are on a
to give
timer,
clues.
though.
That's true.
And
Well,
they
you guys
want
were kind of on a
everybody-
timer. I mean, it would have been nice to.
I
like,
wasn't on a timer.
getting-
I didn't even know there was an ARG. I'm gonna be honest.
that's
told you about it.
that's
Sure
pretty
you
average.
did.
That's pretty average. Birdfacts. Not pay attention.
I feel like that's exactly what everybody expects from me. I was just like, oh, there's an ARG. That's crazy.
That would have been cool. Just completely not even realize that it's there. Yeah.
I could Google it, but what does ARG mean?
Alternate
reality game.
Yeah. What he said.
Yeah, it's just like,
which is why
Yeah,
it can include real life elements. It cannot. It's just any elements that are like partially
traditionally
outside of the game
included
that you're
real
playing.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from
The game in
like
this
traditionally
case being,
ARGs were like campaigns for like movies or games or stuff coming out, and they would include like spoilers for things, but you had to like go to a physical location. I know like Binding of Isaac did one where you had to go like dig up little statues that Edmund Macmillan hid around the world.
Whoa.
Yeah, Destiny 2 had one back in the fucking dark ages of Destiny 2 when like the second DLC came out. One of the teams that was assigned to help them, this wasn't even Bungie that did this. One of the teams that worked with them hid like a real life they had like a Valkyrie spear in the game. They made one of those and hid it somewhere. It had like this whole ARG where people
Whoa.
had to figure stuff out and go. Then a couple people went and found it and they just got to keep it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's usually just kind of like, are there hidden messages in your YouTube's creepypasta? Then it's an ARG. I've been involved in some like YouTube ARGs, mostly in just like archiving videos in case they go down. But sometimes I help solve the puzzles, and that's kind of fun. I'm not too great at solving them, but it's fun.
There was a music artist in Austin who hid a bunch of cassette tapes with recordings of singles for his album that was coming out. And his fans got to go and do like a scavenger hunt to find them. And it was like a 1-of-1 copy of that song before it even got released on a cassette tape.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Pretty hipster.
Very, very glad we got to do
Cassette
that
tapes
for
are
this.
interesting because a lot of people are in like vinyls these days. Vinyls are like they've like made a return.
Mm-hmm.
Cassette tapes are like not super popular, so they're like the actually vintage one right now, which is interesting.
They will come back.
I
History
think they
is
will
just
too.
on a loop. And so like
Yeah.
we're in a vinyl era.
And then
Give
before
us like
long there'll be
another
a
20
CD
years.
era.
CDs will come back. Mark my words.
Let's say,
That's
very
crazy.
let's look up a popular way to play music in 1942. Let's see how history's going to repeat itself here.
Pull out the old gramophone.
On the radio was a big one. The 96% of all American households own the radio by December of 1941. So, you know, if history is repeating itself, the radio is coming back into play.
I was gonna say like, oh, maybe VHS will be popular again, but while the format of VHS isn't particularly popular, the film, I don't know if you could call it film grade, but like the visual style of something being on a VHS is still very popular.
Can you get like 4K level quality on something like a VHS?
I know there's like a weird type of VHS that you could get it on, but it was very unpopular because it was very
It's probably
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was some Sony thing that they made, and it was like pretty good, but people were like, nah, regular VHS because this shit cheap as hell.
Can we talk about how laser
understandable.
discs just like got innovated so quickly, on
crazy.
with the DVD?
I will say VHS itself I don't think it has a 4K version, but I know like magnetic tape is actually a popular storage medium with like for like long-term storage stuff.
Mm.
You can,
Because it doesn't degrade very well.
yeah, and I know that exists. I remember Linus Tech Tips was talking about it a long time ago when they were talking about like upgrading their long-term storage capacity. So theoretically, I guess you could get 4K on that stuff, but I don't think it's like a normal VHS. I think it's like a special kind of magnetic storage tape.
Well, if you're still here listening, thanks for sticking through that nerd session.
I
Back to RuneScape.
don't even know what the hell y'all are talking about right there. I gotta love with you.
I want to talk about bingo. All right, so
Yeah, let's talk about bingo.
Ask your burning question.
I
I'm
am
here to be grilled
notorious.
about bingo.
Yeah, it's time to grill you guys. I am notorious for being a
Burgers?
whiny bitch.
You are. That's bold of
I
you to admit.
I like to complain about stuff, so it's time for me to complain about something.
Oh.
I'm going to complain about total level lock tiles, and not for my own sake. It's not that I want to do these tiles.
For our poor noobs.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. The people that are total level locked in our group do not want to do the total level lock tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has come to the point where it's like, sorry guys,
You want to raid with us? Go get a Brio
yeah,
essence.
too bad. You got to go do that instead. I understand where the headspace was in making these. It makes a lot of sense. The actual result, I don't think, is what you guys wanted.
It's definitely
No,
not. You know
It
why?
was not.
Because we thought it was going to be like a low level batch of like 1750 total people, not almost 2K total individuals.
1954, I think, was the lowest average team total level. So we unfortunately we overtuned the scoring and we undertuned the total levels because, like Michael said, we thought it was going to be very different.
Mhm.
Like, I think there is maybe like one or two people on my team who the total level tiles are like gameplay appropriate for. But we also took all of my total level folks to chambers and they all did fine on the
Yeah.
first day. So it's like
We could have locked some more interesting content had we known
Yeah.
it was going to be nearly 2K total for these people. Not, oh, these are 1500 to 1750, where
Yeah.
this getting full iron armor makes sense. So
Yeah,
it's just a matter of like
I'm
not knowing like, because we couldn't have known. Like we literally did the calculations for total level like locking. I think the night
Mm-hmm.
before bingo started, or maybe like
it
right
was a
after the
couple it
draft or
was a couple of
something.
days before it started because I had to make the video because we didn't want to say like, oh yeah, it's locked to 1750 and then have teams just like without 1750 total level players.
Yeah.
So we had to wait till the draft was done. We got all the stats, we got all the total levels, and then we literally looked and we're like, holy fuck, we did not make tiles appropriate for this. Because we knew what the total level tiles were going to be before we released the total levels. We did not think they'd be that high. So while I like the concept of total level locking, because I think for a lot of ways it does help players like feel like they're doing a lot. Like I had one of my total level boys today. I'm like 800 KC, pull the teleport anchoring scroll. He had to teleport back to the GE and he got the notification in chat and he got super spooned on it. And like that's so exciting for a total level locked player to contribute that many points and to make that much money. Like
Mm-hmm.
the intention was not for them to just do a bunch of grunt work dog shit fuck you tiles. Unfortunately, we just need to make the total level lock tiles better if we do that in the future. So yeah, I will fully concede that the content in the total level lock tiles is kind of dog shit. So I'll take that
Yeah.
one. That's apologies for that one, boys.
Yeah, and then
And I think the one I dislike the most is actually the Huey
I was going to
wand
mention
one.
that one. Huey wand is
Oh,
a
we got
bad
the
one
wand on the wrong
because,
person.
Yeah, Huey is an activity that you're going to, and the total level lock players, especially with as few of them as there are on the team. I think it's the 5 lowest, right? Is how it ended up working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, generally.
They're
It's
going to be doing the
unlikely that-
least DPS.
Yeah, it's also unlikely that all 5 of them are the only people at Huey. You're probably going to bring some amount more of your team members, and then who knows how many of the total level lock players are even online. So to be like, okay, the total level lock players need to get this specific item from Huey and nobody else can get it, doesn't feel that great.
Yeah, I mean, I think the intention
we
behind
had
that
2
one,
total level locked there, I think, right?
Yeah, we had 2 of our total level lock players, and then
Yeah.
someone else showed up for like 3 kills, sniped the wand, and then left.
So from my experience with my team so far, my total level lock players are splitting off into their own groups and doing Hoikoto together, and they're having a blast with it. So like in that way, it's a W. But the intention with that tile, why we made it total level locked, was I think in the event planners chat, because we show the event planners everything early, they're like, oh, this feels kind of disappointing. I was hoping it'd be more like Corp with the boys. And the logic was like, it is Corp with the boys, you know? Nothing feels more fun than to give a total level locked account who you trust. Like, hey, you want to do you like Hoikoto? Here's Torva and a scythe. Let's have fun. We'll trade gear for this kill, you know, or this set that we're doing, and then let the total level players get more damage, and then just stay at the boss, split out all the cool shit, give them the hides if they're making money. You know, the intention was that they make money and contribute and get to have fun at group content. Because usually when noobs try to come to Corp, like every season, I have one guy who shows up hoping to God Ruby Bolt procs work at Corp. They're like everyone else is in Missouri with Void Wakers, and they're in fucking Black
Bro,
D
just
hide
give
with a
give
rune
my guy the
crossbow.
ZCB.
Yeah, like it's you know it's tough. It's tough for stuff like that because Corp is so dependent on getting the KC. So we were hoping with Huey that it would be a little bit different. We were hoping that like the wand is not MVP locked, and if you want to and you trust them, give them the good shit and just go in a team and just machine gun kills.
That's the other problem, though. The wand is not MVP locked. So even if they are MVP, it still doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Again, I don't think the criticisms are off base. I think
Like,
we
I-
missed
I-
with the
I do-
content of the TLL
yeah,
tiles.
I
but-
do enjoy the fundamental concept. I just think requiring a specific item from Huey on a total level locked is a bit of a miss. If it had been like, you know, get any like real unique from it, so the hides, the wand, or the tome on a total level locked, then I would have been like, okay, this makes sense. You know, pull up, And then if they happen to get a drop, okay, cool, great. But getting one specific one feels a little too rough. But I don't know, maybe I'm off base on that. Not sure.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. It is an 8-point tile. That was partially the justification.
That is
as
fair,
well.
I suppose.
Like it's high points, which was another thing. We didn't just want to make the total level lock tiles like 1 and 2 points because you guys aren't meaningfully contributing shit. You know, like I wanted the low level players to be able to put a tile on the board that makes them feel like, holy shit, we unlocked a new board because I got the Hoikoto one. You know, so I definitely think we missed with some of them, and I'm not gonna lie, we missed with probably more than we didn't. You know, if that makes sense. And the justification for the zombie pirates is, yeah, it feels kind of grunt worky and it is in the wilderness. If you go on rate for the teleport anchoring scroll, you make like 70 mil. So we were kind of hoping that like if you don't get lucky, the low level players, they make a lot of money. So
to be honest, we don't have that tile unlocked. I haven't even looked at that one yet. We have up to Springo 23, so anything past that doesn't exist in my mind yet.
Fair enough. Yeah.
The only one that exists in my mind is the 2 burning claws because I have a greater demons task stored and I want to go kill some fucking TDs. God damn it.
Tomorrow at 11 a.m. CST.
Okay, that's when the mercy word goes live.
Yep.
Everybody will have everything.
Which is another reason why we put it in, because we wanted to make sure that like we knew somebody would be like, well, we don't have any total level lock players. They're holding us back. We're like, yeah, we don't want to do that. So everyone gets everything. You know, we really tried for no surprises. We blew it with the rule change, but we really tried for no surprises. So
I want to talk about that real quick because everybody's calling it a rule change, but I, in my brain, can't really connect it to being a rule. It's just like an integrity change at that point.
This guy sounded
He's
like
going Jagex on us.
Yeah, hold on.
If we change the rules, like it was a gameplay rule, like a gameplay mechanic change, not
quality of life
a rule.
change,
We didn't say now suddenly surely counts for everything, which we almost did. We were going to allow the back-to-back tile items to like retroactively double count for other tiles.
I thought you were going to be like, oh yes, I got back-to-back bones. Let's go.
No, so the idea was like if you got back-to-back Barrows drops, you could then use those items that you got for the back-to-back tile in your Barrows tile.
Gotcha, yeah.
That would be a rule change. Whereas this is just like I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a rule change to me.
The points thresholds are a part of the rules of the way the board works. If a tile clarification is a rules change, I would argue that the thresholds for unlocking sections of the board would also be the rules. There has to be rules on how the board unlocks, you know?
Well, yeah, I guess if you're trying to get pedantic with it, but the idea isn't that like, you know, in Springo, we released a new rule that said, hey, every drop over 1 million GP is worth an extra point. The 47 minutes that rule was live did not go over well.
Partially because people didn't know how to read. I'm gonna out some people for that. Some people just didn't know how to read and completely misinterpreted it. And by some people, I mean a lot of people that I saw in the captain's chat.
God, it was. Oh, you
Blind
mean the
range? Maybe?
Are you talking the 1 mil per drop or
a lot of people misinterpreted that from what I remember.
A lot of people made it our problem. So that was that. I remember that, dude. That night was rough. It was like Oxie's taking a step back from this bingo. If anybody has any questions, talk to literally anybody else. And then everything went downhill. And suddenly I had to put the work clothes on and step into the general chat and be like, all right, you fuckers made me turn off my shows. What are we talking about here? I'm like, it was a rough time in Springo, which thankfully we didn't have that with this bingo, which I appreciate all of you. If you're a bingo player listening, I appreciate you guys for at least being open to the change. You don't have to like it, but we didn't receive nearly the vitriol that we did, you know?
I stand by my no vote.
just to say
just
no
because. Yeah.
I saw you immediately like one tick check. No, I'm like, Bird, what the fuck? And then you're like, I just want to be different. I'm like, Yeah, that tracks. Never mind.
Yeah, I saw him no and then start typing. I'm like, what the fuck reason does he
I
have?
didn't have one.
I do love that because he checked no and then Sparry checked yes. I'm like, I'm so confused.
House divided cannot stand.
I exist as an agent of chaos.
Why we love you, brother.
Yeah, I was at it. I think that day I was taking my break from bingo. I needed one day off to not play video games all day and go touch grass. So I was out playing
So he touched cardboard.
Magic the Gathering, the second nerdiest thing I could be doing at that time. And I had to keep checking my phone, which was unfortunate because my phone was being used as a life counter for everyone. And I was like,
Damn.
listen, I gotta see what's going on.
Sucks to be them, anyways.
Yeah, anyways, checking my phone again. It's okay. Chris was taking like 15-minute turns
Average.
on his I play
Come
an
on,
enchantment on my creature and attack you deck. So
Chris, if you're listening, do better.
do better.
Do
He doesn't
better.
listen to this podcast.
You never know.
I would be amazed if he did.
Yeah, no, my logic on that was, oh, this looks like a good change. No.
And immediately votes no.
Yeah. I saw that a lot of people were voting yes on it, and I was like, oh, it'd be funny to vote no. If they were actually like, if it was actually close, I probably would have voted yes. But like, when I voted no, there were already like 7 yes votes. Like, it was already getting spammed, and there was like, I think it was still literally just Oxie's like example no vote. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm gonna click no.
I think it only got 7 no votes out of 47 total votes. A lot of votes. You know, I'm gonna no vote it. Now that it's in.
So here's a
I
question.
think
for you guys.
everyone should know voted now that it's too
Yeah,
late.
true,
You know,
honestly.
that's a great idea.
All the captains go back and vote no.
I have a question based
Mhm.
on how we handled that democracy. You know, democracy wins in the end. People voted yes, it went in. Do you think that the point rule change in Springo 24 could have gone differently had we involved the captains?
I think possibly.
Yeah.
I think
Remind me again exactly what the change was.
So we were trying to avoid pets deciding the bingo because at that point multiple teams had blacked out the board and it was just a slog of like trying to get a pet. And so we made it to where any drop that you got that was worth over 1 mil would just simply count as 1 point, and you could rack up as
Mhm.
many points as you could get as long as the drop was 1 mil. And so people thought, oh, I'm just gonna spam like getting whips and stupid things that cost over 1 mil.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I don't think that we fleshed it out enough, and we also didn't involve anybody but the planning team, which at that point was already divided in the decision.
I think if it went up to a captain vote, I feel like it would have been voted no.
Yeah, absolutely. Or
'Cause I
tweaked.
think that's just
yeah, I think that's the
we were
other thing
talking
is
about
we
it.
got feedback on it. Like, people would have been like, oh, you could do this or that, and
Yeah.
it's
I think
possible
the
that
initial suggestion was 10 mil. And that got shot down because that felt too hard by the people in the admin chat.
Yeah. I think that's just the same thing as like pets essentially, in that you're limited to grinding a few things where you efficiently get either 10 mil or a pet like as fast as you can. And I think that just feels bad either way. I don't know. I think once you black out the board and you already have a rule established that you can get a repeatable thing, no matter what you change that repeatable thing to, I think it just kind of feels bad regardless.
In retrospect, from someone who has a lot of experience planning these events, it was doomed from the start because of our decision to allow pets to count as bonus points. That was a decision that was kind of copy and pasted from Skill Tree Bingo. The logic from Skill Tree Bingo was it feels kind of bad to get a pet early on if it's not unlocked, and it also feels even worse to be like locked to the first, the first 16 tiles, right? It feels really bad to be locked in that section because you just can't get a pet. So we said, you know what? Let's make pets bonus points. And we didn't expect anyone to get as far as they did in Skill Tree Bingo. Because we made the board difficult to open and we made it difficult to complete. And then we had a team that actually did it. And then it would have come down to pets had other teams blacked out the board. Like had my team blacked out the board, I think Hyla and I just would have done like a gentleman's agreement, 2 golds, because we didn't want to have our folks spend the entire day doing like fire capes and shit, because that's just not fun.
Yeah.
But if AP's team would have got it, they would have won because they would have had an extra pet. So that rule in our heads, it made sense for skill tree bingo, and then when it was copy and pasted over to Springo, it was meant to feel fun, like, oh, pets are always worth something, but it was unfortunately counterbalanced by a board that, in my opinion, was too easy. I'm not going to talk a ton about it because I did not help plan that board, and that was my bad. So like I've said, I take a lot of Springo as like Oxie was not involved, and that is where the controversy began, and that's why I was very involved with this bingo planning process, because I didn't want people to go through that again at any level, as a player, as an admin, whatever it was. So yeah, unfortunately the bonus points just kind of missed. Thankfully there is a tiebreaker system that we talked about like weeks ago, Michael, so we can assure Michael and I can assure you guys, like, there is a tiebreaker system that does not involve pets. It does not involve any other bullshit, whatever.
Because there's like 6 factors to the tiebreaker system now, right?
Yeah, it goes levels deep.
Yeah.
It is like, it's stupid. It's like blackout order.
Yeah, the concept of multiple golds is like there, but it's under like 6 levels of bullshit.
Yeah, it's blackout order, most points, most percent of tiles completed, how many rows and columns each team has completed, and then if all of those things somehow still line up, fuck it, 2 golds. Like, that's
you said last bingo was too easy, but second to last team, I think it was really hard and difficult, actually.
It's a matter of perspective, because I don't think
we got so unlucky.
I don't think it was too easy. But then again, I was my team we only had missed like maybe 6 or 7 tiles, and arguably some of them were just ones that we didn't want to do. Nobody wanted to do forestry. Nobody wanted to do some of the easier stuff that we probably could have. But we had fun. I think it's a matter of perspective.
My golden pheasant egg, that's right.
It came down for my team. It came down to Metamorphic Dust, Forestry Unique, and Arcane Prayer Scroll. And I told my team, like, off the rip, I'm like, here's the deal. We're blacking this motherfucker out by Thursday. I got standing bets on whether or not we get it done. We didn't get it blacked out till I think Friday. But oh man. Yeah, maybe it was Saturday, because god, and the Mother's Day end. That was brutal. That was brutal for everybody.
Yeah, our team was like at the very bottom of the board. We finished second to last, and we're down a player. So like mood was kind of down at the end. I was like, listen, guys, we're not gonna win. That's fine. Let's just have fun with the last like 2 or 3 days of bingo. And I think we just ended up sending a bunch of like learner raids and just having a good time. Which I'm really happy too with the team we have this bingo. We're all having a great time. We're actually like, we're not in top 5 anymore, but we're pretty competitive this time around. I'm hoping we're sending raids today. We sent some raids when we first unlocked the lesser purples, but we haven't done any yesterday. Although, actually, we did have Serenade going for a 500 attempt. So he got, I think he said 100 HP from killing Warden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Nyla are doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still are, but
I think they might be going again
doing it
today.
Later,
yeah.
It's so funny what Serenade has. Like, he was like using a scythe somewhere really dumb because somebody loaned it to him.
I loaned him my shadow
so
for a while. Yeah. Good times. Yeah, we just need someone to loan him a Tebow, and he can have used the trifecta this bingo.
Speaking of y'all's team, how did the name Sponsored by the XP Waste podcast get shot down?
I don't know!
That would have been hilarious.
I just peaked my mic so much, but I'm so fucking pissed that wasn't the name that our teammates picked. If you're listening to this, teammates, what the fuck? If you didn't vote for Sponsored by the XP Waste podcast, you're fine. You're
no longer sponsored by the XP Waste podcast.
But yeah,
you get nothing.
Fucking Planker's team last time he did the sponsored by the Guthix podcast, and I was like, okay, there's literally no way that next time I don't force our team to be sponsored by, or I don't know what I just said, but he did sponsored by the Guthix podcast, and I was immediately like, okay, well now since Sparry and I do a team every time, we got to do sponsored by XP Waste.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been hilarious. Because then every time I go to @XP Waste in the Discord, it would have shown up in the list,
If
and I
someone
would have been
else
pissed for
does
years to
that
come.
next bingo, I'm gonna
No,
throw
we're-
hands.
Listen, Bird, next bingo, it's not a democracy.
No, I
Some
listened.
teams did that. Some teams said like in their captain description, they're like, "Hey, join the Bosch Tutors." There's no choice on the name. It's
Yeah,
just
they're-
called the Bosch Tutors.
next
you know? Like,
next season there is no choice. All right, I gave everybody we gave everybody choice this time. I thought it was going to be the smash hit, but no, we had to choose 23andMe, which is still funny, I
Listen,
guess.
I think it's a good name.
It's
Why is it 23andMe?
because you're team 23.
yeah, we were team
Yeah.
23, which personally I just don't like making
I'm not
your
a huge-
team name after
yeah.
the number that you were, because
Yeah.
as soon as the numbers are all gone, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. There's a few suggestions that were like literally just the numbers, and I was like, eh. And it kind of reflected, I think those got like no votes.
But then 23andMe survived.
Yeah, 23andMe is the only one that got votes there.
We were between Split on That Fang and Plea Deal, like PLEAE.
I think if
Oh my gosh.
and we were
if-
also between Split On or Split of That Fang. Like, give me that 800K split of that Fang.
if my
but
team's
on
name
one,
had
so.
become a Hawk Tuo reference, I would have quit immediately. I would
We-
not
we
have
were-
made this
we were
bingo.
so
close.
much
We were
that
close.
Hawk Toa and Split on That Fang are back to back in the order. That makes me so upset.
I
That was
despise
somebody's
that meme
suggestion.
so much. I would
Rune
instantly
Guy-
quit.
Rune
Guy
Guy
suggested
suggested it. Rune Guy suggested it, and I'm like, I'm going to blow your fucking mind when I tell you what team names we are between right now.
It makes me so upset seeing those names back to back in the order.
Yeah.
Speaking of team names, this is the first bingo in a while that I haven't seen like full on team graphics being posted and like team
Oh yeah.
banners. We didn't
Yeah,
make
I
one.
made one last bingo. I haven't done one this one.
If we
Less
had the name
inspired, I
sponsored
guess.
by the XP Waste podcast, I would have fucking made one. I had an idea
Yeah.
already, but now it's gone. It's gone. I'm never
Next bingo,
making it out of
next bingo.
spite.
Ungrateful Piss Babies is up for grabs next bingo.
I'm shocked nobody tried that name. I really am. Because I would have allowed it. I don't care. I would have.
I probably would have been like, hey guys, too soon, but next time, it's all yours. The Cheesecake Factory, though, 10 out of 10. I wanted that name when I
That's a
saw
good
that
name.
they were like considering it. I messaged Cordy. I'm like, hey guys, if you don't end up going with that, I'm stealing it, just to let you know. Because as a mod, I have privileges, and those privileges allow me to see team chats. And I know what you're thinking about, and I love it.
Damn mod abuse.
truly.
All right.
Has
This
to
whole thing goes
sometimes.
on mod abuse, dude. Let me tell you.
How do you guys feel about going to break real quick? And then when we get back, we can talk a little bit more about bingo. I want to talk about some drops I got.
Ooh, hell yeah. I'd
tiles
love
we
to.
worked
Yeah.
on.
Talk about the good shit for bingo.
We
That
can,
sounds like
yeah.
a plan to me.
we can do the section we usually do in the first section, which is the how's your week going?
Oh,
Yeah.
We
great.
should talk
Let's do
about
it.
what's happened.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. This week's episode is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting the show. I know I haven't done a shout out of your guys' names in a while. I apologize for that. We're going to start off with our free tier, which I didn't even know was a thing. Thanks to Oxie's favorite white dust runner for
All
being at the
right.
free tier. At the $2 tea drinker tier, we also have Dan, Dinosaur, Gothpout, M. Scotty, and SF Serenade. And then no one at the $5 tier, but at the $10 tea aficionado tier, the cutest patrons around, we do have Cloud Kicker, Drum TXT, and Iron Sparry Win.
Still
I
waiting.
have no idea who you are still, and the answer is still never. This week's episode is also sponsored by XP Waste.
Oh, love it.
Sponsored by the XP Waste podcast. Son of a
We
bitch.
all go and give our sponsorships, right? Bird, you're next, yeah?
Fucking Spire just took mine. Fuck.
This week's episode is sponsored by getting multiple bingo tile drops the week before bingo and not being able to bitch about it because you're the only one who knows what the board is.
That's a tough one.
This week's episode is sponsored by losing your rune pouch in the wilderness.
Oh.
This week's
Still
episode is
got it.
finally sponsored by Ray Dow from Monster Hunter Wilds. He's going to delete you with a railgun. Hope this helps.
All right, I'm ready to get back into it.
Let's do it.
Me too. Let's do it.
Welcome
back,
back.
everyone. Whose return is this? What show is this?
Michael
Just kidding.
Michael gives into
Go
the
ahead.
voices that I constantly have to avoid of like, do I just interrupt Sparry just at every turn possible? Like
We have a
there's-
format.
there was that one intro where I just did like the "What's up, guys?"
I love
Just
that.
like-
What's up, gamers?
I have to constantly stop myself
hey.
from doing something like that.
Oxie and I switch back and forth for a reason. Just let your creative juices flow every other week. That's what I'm saying.
If Bird wants to do the intro, he's more than welcome to
don't.
pipe up.
I'm lazy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
You just
do
want to
sh- I don't do
interrupt me.
shit. I just want to do something stupid. That's my
He doesn't wanna
mantra
work.
in life.
He just wants to have fun.
Yeah. We've all probably done a lot this last week.
You can say
Yeah.
that.
I've done some things.
Let's start with our guests. What have you guys been up to this week?
I'll start.
Michael, what you been up to this week?
Like I said, bingo has been a lot of not fun, front-loaded solo content. So I haven't done much of anything. Didn't get a Zolar drop. Didn't get a Moons drop. Didn't get a
Oh,
Barrows drop.
what'd you
I
get?
didn't. I had nothing. I'd
Oh,
done
damn.
almost 100 Zolra. And I'm at
I love how unintentionally toxic that was.
60 with no uniques.
Ugh.
You have an Onyx.
That's not a unique.
Oh, hey, he's in the me boat. Let's go. Hey, you know, if it's anything like my log, you'll be another 1,000 kills before you see your blowpipe.
Don't say that.
I'm pretty close behind you, Michael. I'm 289, not even an Onyx on my log. So that's
Wow.
yeah.
I don't feel that bad that I have to kill Zora because like the other supplies are decent,
Yeah.
I'm stocking
and you're
up on
getting scales
scales.
for the long term.
but it's just a slog, man. Like every time like Calquat seeds pop up, I'm like, ugh.
Mhm.
These kills are
Yeah.
not fast either. They're like 2 to 3 minute kills. I'm using prayer pots. I'm using runes, and to top it off,
Mhm.
I lost my rune pouch because I'm
Yeah,
an idiot.
Oh.
Dude, I was in the.
I
yeah,
mean,
was in
think
DC
about
last
how
night
bad
driving home.
losing a rune pouch would be on an iron. Oh my
It's
god.
annoying.
I was driving home and I heard that you lost your rune pouch. I was like, there's no fucking way. And then somebody said, yeah, LOL. He thought it was his looting bag. I said, don't do that. Don't do my boy like that. And they're like, no, seriously. That's what he said in the CC. He thought it was his looting bag. And I was like, Michael, what
Yeah,
the fuck happened, dog?
We unlocked the wildy column, and I
Mhm.
got overly happy that I could finally do something that wasn't, I don't know, Slayer. And I was like, I'm going to Calvarion. I'm going to Vedion immediately. Anybody can come. I'm geared. Let's go. So I set up my main as the scout. I get to Vedion. I find a world that's empty. Took a while. In my haste to like have fun, I just geared with what I had on me. So I didn't change my inventory. Like I didn't hit the deposit all button. I just
Mm.
geared, and I left my rune pouch in the bottom right, like I always do, and didn't realize it. I was at Vedion for like 3 ticks, and a PKer drops in. I'm running, it's fine, but he had a team at South,
Mm.
and so I got piled by 3 people. Couldn't make it out, and so I died. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Just regear and go back. But then I saw 1.3 mil in the clan chat. It's like, wait, I know I wasn't risking anything because I have all my items in my inventory. I don't take a +1. was like, oh, well, probably, okay, we went to Vedion the other night. I probably just didn't empty out my looting bag. It's fine. Turns out I don't have any law runes in my bank.
Oh
And all my
no.
law runes, all my dust runes, all my fire runes, all my water runes. So I
That's so
spent
depressing.
Yeah,
like another 3 million GP trying to get a semblance of like a rune stack back. And now I have to go and do either one of two things. I have to waste every single one of my Slayer points and get that basically down to 0 again and get a rune pouch immediately, or several hours of LMS that I don't want to do. And I don't want to do
Mhm.
either of them because I didn't even,
Please do
spoiler
LMS.
alert,
Join me in the LMS dimension.
I didn't even get my rune pouch in the first place. Somebody, I let Ralph log in on my account and do LMS for me because I
Oh my goodness.
that was before Jagger's
He
accounts.
cheated the early. He cheated the early game.
It's fucked up, man. I had to get mine the hard way. I had to suffer through LMS. That shit was terrible.
Well, you could have
I
had Ralph do
love
it.
LMS.
Bitches, I don't even know if you could get a rune pouch in LMS when I got
Dude.
my rune pouch. I just spent 750 Slayer points on that bitch. It was brutal.
I got
Yeah.
mine in the brief period where you could just buy it with GP.
Yeah, that's when I got
That was
mine on my
pretty
main.
cool.
You can though,
during
right?
the bounty
Still?
hunter period. You can
You
buy
can
the
buy
note.
them, you can buy
There
the
was a
notes.
period
The
of time
rune
where you
pouch
could
note.
literally just walk up to the bounty hunter guy and buy one.
Oh,
Mhm. It wasn't long lasted. It was because they did some changes and it was temporarily unavailable from Bounty Hunter because they
Okay,
removed
yeah.
Bounty Hunter and they hadn't put it somewhere else
This
yet.
motherfucker. Sorry, I'm at Redwoods, and this guy, I'm like sitting right next to the ladder chopping the redwood. This guy climbs up the ladder and starts chopping the one next to me, and then asks me for a bird fact. So he acknowledges my existence and still chooses to chop the other one.
There's so many spots.
Now I'm chopping here too.
hate you.
So that's my week. It's going to turn around because we have a lot more content to do, and like I'm able to send the gauntlet now. What else can I do? That's fun. We can do like, we haven't done it yet, but we can do Volcano tomorrow in the mid afternoon. Probably going to send some raids because that's fully unlocked.
Hell yeah.
I might get I want to get something. I want to get something that is meaningful for my account progress during this bingo, or I think it's going to be just a depressing time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But I think there's brighter stories ahead, so I'll let Oxie talk now.
Yeah.
I gotta love with you boys. I've been having the best time of my life. This has been the most enjoyable couple of days of RuneScape I've had.
Well, now
in,
you're
like,
max, so it's like this
Yeah,
is.
I think the last year
I
you've
wanted-
been grinding.
I wanted to talk to you about this, so I guess you're max now,
well,
and
a lot of it we gotta talk about on
Oh,
our show, surely,
withhold
right?
some
But
information. Then
surely, but I'll
Nah,
say
nah,
this,
just direct
dude.
your audience over here. You know, if they want to hear it.
Oh, that's a actually. Yeah, I mean, we will. We're not gonna like, hey, fuck Guthix right now. You know those guys. Like, you know. Yeah. TLDR. The last like year or so, like leagues came out. I played a lot of leagues. I had fun with it until I didn't because leagues exhausted
Yeah.
me. And then in January, I decided that the maxing grind would be this year. And then I did nothing but max until Springo. Realized I wasn't going to get 99 agility before Springo.
Mhm.
Didn't enjoy Springo as much as I was hoping to. I couldn't even get time off.
Yeah.
Right. The minute the availability opened, somebody swiped the week of bingo
Ooh.
from me. So I can't like take a week off with one of my coworkers, you know?
Yeah.
So I couldn't get any time off for Springo. I was working remote and I was only going into the office like 2 days a week over the summer. So it wasn't like crazy bad, but like it just didn't feel like it's awkward to like break up a raiding session because you have to do like two therapy appointments, you
Mhm.
know? And then every other event I've participated in has felt like a waste. You know, the few events, because like the one event, the D-Gen Empire bingo I was in, that was a disaster. I loved my team to death, but like that bingo was run horribly.
Oh,
And then
no.
the tile race I did with the Pathologic boys was just a busy weekend where we sat at Chaos Elemental for way too long. I think my team did like 2,000 Chaos Elemental with no pet. We considered
Holy.
adding Mod Ash and being like, hey, is there a bug? Because it was around the time where another update had come into the game
Mhm.
and neither team had the pet after 1,000 kills. And we literally were like, I think we have to DM a bug because this is an issue. And then the other team got it and we're like, oh, it exists. We're just shitters. Okay. And then the last couple of months I've just been like rune crafting, wood cutting, all this other shit. And then I blew my 99 herb lore. I wanted to get it at Zuck and then died on wave 64 because I'm bad at the game. And then instead I went back to get another task. And instead of giving me a back-to-back Zuck task with the Slayer Cape, Kuradel gave me a Calvarion task. So I had to admit my shame, get ranked in Calvarion and get 99 herb lore there. As like a punishment. Self-imposed, of course, but yeah, and then I've been editing for so long. It's exhausting.
Yeah,
You know,
video
making a
editing
video
is another
every single
beast.
day. When it's every day a new video, new B-roll, I'm learning creator kit, I'm learning all this other shit. It's just so tiring.
Mhm.
So the fact that this bingo has rolled around and today's my first day off for the rest of the week. Right? Like I worked remote yesterday, didn't have anything to do, but I was still technically on call for Crisis. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I am off. I got nothing. And it has been such a good time doing content with my team.
Mhm.
Right? Like I got an AV Ansies task like as soon as bingo started, pretty much. And I went with my team. I said, yeah, I apologize in advance. This is about to be the Oxie show. I have a Slayer helmet and a shadow, and I got a shit ton of Kriara KC, which again, just like felt good. We got a chest plate. Zero and I got a duo chest plate. So we got a 22 mil split from that. You know, I've been getting I got a Sang staff from Tav. I've been making like, I think so far I'm at like 100-ish mil profit. And like, even at the bosses where I'm not making any money, all of it feels good. Like I've done a pretty substantial chunk of Muspa, more so than I have in the last, probably since the time it came out.
Mhm.
And it feels good. I got both mega rares. I have been learning Leviathan as of last night. That is a horrible experience. Leviathan is like the worst boss in the game.
You people just suck at the game. I've determined.
Honestly, God, it's a skill issue.
I love
I'm
that
watching
boss.
players. I have a guy on my team, Jack. Jack's GIM. This man does not have rigor and has like a 200.
He was just like
Leviathan
me
KC.
for real, dude.
He's literally sitting there.
I had
like, Oxy, you just gotta flick prayers and pay attention. He's like, how do I have a faster PP with you? I'm like, I don't know. You're throwing sticks
Dude.
at it, Jack. I have no fucking clue how you're beating me with my like a loaned ZCB. I don't know how the hell
my account.
I'm getting the hang of it
Dude,
now.
my account is so
Man.
dumb. I got Venator Ring, pre-rigor and anguish. Like, because I just liked Leviathan. I was like, man, this boss is fun. And I actually have like good gear that works at this boss. So I just did like a bunch of Leviathan for no real reason. I just enjoyed it when DT2 came out. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this.
No, I have been getting, when I tell you like absolutely shit on this week, like I have died. There's been a running joke that Oxy has died at every single piece of content in the game. Oxy has been killed everywhere. Like it has not, man. I'm about to dump a bunch of screenshots right now. Is there my death from? Yep, there's my Armadillo death. That's what I wanted to shoot out as well. Like in the last couple of days, I have died so many times. It's not even fun. But it feels good. If that makes sense, it feels good to die because I'm finally doing content again. And like in that way, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. It feels good to do content and to get money and to not have any other obligations. I'm very happy for it. So
Yeah, it's really freeing going from having to grind skills that maybe aren't the most fun to being able to do whatever you want. I mean, you can do whatever you want in bingo. You kind of have to do the tiles, but like it's basically whatever you want, you know. It's a la carte. Just pick whatever sounds the most fun.
I told my team, I said, hey, I'm not doing any of the skilling tiles. You guys can get fucked. On day 2, I was running arty laps. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm running monkey laps right now. I'm like, you guys, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Please.
I was 1/3 of the agility XP for our agility tile.
I
That was all I
I
did.
saw the Chompy Chick tile for 1,000. I'm like, boys, I'm gonna do most of this. I want those clogs. So I did 400 Chompy Chicks yesterday, and I might finish off the tile if Bird doesn't today.
I probably won't. I still need to get the pet there, but I have other things to do.
I ended up getting like I said, 400 kills, and I got 3 more Chompy Chicks in that with no plucking. So, you know, we're
Pretty spooned.
yeah. Well, I was 3 times dry before for the pet, so
I went dry for the fucking Chompy Chick, bro. That shit was so funny.
of all I was there all day when I was going
It
for
was
my Chompy
so
Chick pet.
funny.
I was malding in chat. I was like,
he was mauling hard.
Yeah, like of all the things to go dry on, like it's not that bad because it made it from like a 2-hour grind to like a 6-hour grind, so it's not that bad. But like, oh my god, actually, I think I spent like 8 hours at Chompy Chicks when I was going for the pet.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was a long time. It was really funny.
So are you going to 4,000?
No, I did 2,000. What was my starting KC? Because I haven't done Chompy Chicks since. I got to 1,850 with plucking
And no pet?
and no pet until 1,851.
Oh. Damn.
Skill issue.
Yeah, it was not great.
So other than dog shit luck at Chompies, how's your guys' bingo been so far?
Oh, I mean, I got lucky this bingo. You know, 3 more pets.
The Chompy arc was ages ago at this point. So
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying before, me and Scotty spent the first, full day at Arma, and we were malding because we were dry, and then we got the helmet, and everyone's like, GZ, I'm like, it's the worst one.
I'd take a helmet right now. I need that shit for a master clue.
And then like not even that much longer after that, I got a dupe pair of legs, and I was like, oh, thank God. If it was another helmet, I would have lost my mind.
I like that Rune Guy, because Rune Guy did the sheet again, right? Or is that someone else's time?
He did the sheet.
Okay, yeah. I'm very like, I know that he needed to do it, but I do enjoy that there are 4 slots for the armor tile on the off chance that you
just get 4 helmets.
fucking helmets. I just that amused
Feels
me.
bad, man.
There was another drop I got. I think it was day 2. I don't remember what it was, but we didn't need it for a tile. I want to say it was a ballista piece, and everyone was GZing me, and I'm like, we don't need that one. I feel so bad. But yeah, I've been enjoying doing bosses. Vardorvis has been kicking my ass because I don't have a good weapon anymore. I'm using the Noxious Halberd to kill him, which isn't the worst thing, but like it's noticeably worse than like the Soul Reaper axe, which I was using last time I was killing Vardorvis.
I thought you were gonna say that you were using the pre-nerf Fang the last time you were killed in Vardorvis, and I was like, yeah, of course nothing's fucking better than that.
No, Soul Reaper axe. Pre-nerf Fang was a great time. Yeah, I don't think I've done too much else other than that. Oh, I got the Araxite head from Araxites. So now I have the best Slayer helm unlocked.
Sparry's continual getting the head of a Slayer monster from the baby ones.
Yeah. I've gotten, if I open up my, where is this, in the Slayer tab, I assume? 6 abyssal heads just from Abbey Demons.
Whoa.
And yeah, I'm sure I'm past it now. I think I've done more Abbey Demons, but when I got my 6th head, I only had 6,000 Abbey Demons killed. So I was getting it at a rate of 1 in 1,000. And I think it's like a 1 in 6,000 or something.
It's some ridiculous rate, yeah.
And this is why you couldn't get a Chompy pet.
Yeah, exactly. I had to suffer somewhere because like all my pets are spooned. The Calphite Princess, Kraken, 2 Smoke Devils, 3 Rock Golems, 2 Herons, 2 Urbies. You guys were here for the last Urby.
Mm.
Yeah, that was And now I'm suffering at woodcutting for the
Yeah, it's true.
the
How much
beaver.
woodcutting XP you at now?
I literally just passed 28 million.
Damn, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Have you considered
To be
getting
fair,
good?
I haven't been on the grind lately for that. What were you asking?
Nothing. I just was making fun
No.
of you for not having the beaver.
Yeah.
Sucks. No pog
I think
beaver.
when we're done recording, though, I'm excited to go spend a 6-hour log at Wintertodd. I think that'll be a good time.
Fucking you. Why the fuck are you doing that?
I need the tome, and a 6-hour log
Oh.
is the most efficient way to get log
And you don't-
drops
You
there.
don't have pet there either, right?
I don't have pet either, so I'm like hoping to get pet.
Yeah, I'm 95 fire making with only like I think 50 or so solos or something, and I have 55 Wintertodd solos. I have 2 pets and then green log, so it's just that easy.
I probably won't actually do a full 6-hour log. I might do like a 2 or 3 hour at the most, just because like I don't want to go too far over the number of rolls I'm getting. But the fact that you can like stay there for 6 hours now is kind of disgusting.
It is pretty fucking
Because
crazy.
like, yeah, the
I'm
longer
guessing
you
if
stay
you-
there,
If you log
the
out, your
better.
points are gone, right?
yeah, if you log out, you lose your points. So you do need to finish it before the 6-hour log.
Oh, right.
But the fact that all your points just go into the pull system means you don't like lose extra points you get past the 28 rolls. And the potions in there also makes it so you can just stay as long as you want. There's nothing limiting you anymore.
yeah, Wintertodd is now a
other
zero
than the-
cost activity.
Yeah,
Kind of crazy.
it's very nice. I did 1.5 hours yesterday.
What about you, Bird?
Let's see. The one thing that finally happened that was kind of cool. I'd like to personally thank you guys for adding a ballista tile, because I am very good at getting exactly what I don't need at demonics. So
Oh,
when I
mhm.
went to demonics to get the ballista pieces, naturally I finally got a second Zenite at almost
Woo!
1600 demonic
Oh.
kills.
Was I finally your anguish?
So I finally have an anguish. So
Yay.
Let's
Bliss.
there is a
go.
You're
yeah.
welcome. Honestly, we thought
thanks,
of you.
guys.
So
This is
glad we
a,
could
this is a
help.
big, this is a big one. I'm glad me specifically, I was in mind when you did that. I'm sure.
Yeah, we're like, you know what? Bird's gonna fuck this tile up, so he's gonna let's put a ballista on here.
And then
Yep.
naturally, I did also. I'm the king of getting bullshit ballista parts. I got another spring and limbs while I was there, for the tile.
Oh my
so-
god, it feels so bad. One of our teammates got the
There's the limbs.
what did we need? The string for it
No, it was the
or
limbs.
something? The limbs. We needed the limbs, and they got the drop, one of our total level locks, but they had their notifications set to like 30k or something, and it's worth like 20k or whatever. It was like 10k off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Did they take any before and after collection
No,
logs?
they didn't. So Bird ended up getting it a few hours
fortunately,
later.
I am the best at getting dog shit drops from those enemies. So
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you were able to use your shitty RNG. I can't wait for you to get 3 tormented synapses going for the burning
probably,
claws.
yeah. I mean, I already have one. I got pretty spooned on the first one. I'm up to 500 KC now, so we're at rate for it now. So I'm now allowed to get another one. I wouldn't mind getting another synapse so that I can make Emberlight, because I made the bow, which has been really nice. But yeah, the
I
making
want the
Emberlight.
bow.
What the bow doing?
Want the bow so bad.
It's really nice. I don't think I'll ever do it because I don't really have a reason to go back to Zammy, but I was watching someone do the strategy where you just have a light bearer and you just main hand the bow at Zammy and just repeatedly use the spec on him to freeze him. And you
That's the
just
tactic.
you don't interact with the boss. It's so funny.
Are you also using like
I think you also use Death Charge.
Death
yeah.
Charge, and then
But
what's the one that makes demons deal less damage to you?
I
Ward
don't
of
think that one
Arceus?
matters.
Well, for the minions.
I mean, I guess, but
You're on the spellbook, might as well.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's so funny that that's a strategy now. Is just because the spec only costs 25. You just sit there and you just freeze them repeatedly. That shit is so funny to me.
It's pretty funny.
But yeah, I have an Anguish now, which is sick. There's a possibility of post bingo Inferno attempts. I might go get some prayer levels first. I have a shit ton of bones banked that I just haven't bothered.
Go make some prayer enhanced potions.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to make a couple of those. We did go to Huey. I got the Tome of Earth, which is cool. I'm never gonna use that thing ever. The amount of charges you get on an Iron Man there is abysmal.
Yeah, it's not good.
I will be able to use that thing for like 20 minutes, and then I'll need to go back to Huey for another 6 hours to use it for another 20 minutes. It's ridiculous.
I do think the pages situation on Iron Man is kind of
it's terrible,
lackluster.
Yeah, it's awful. For mains, it makes
should give you
complete
guaranteed
sense.
pages every time.
But
I think
for irons, it's genuinely awful. Or it either needs to be guaranteed pages from every kill, just like a couple from every kill, or the amount needs to be drastically tuned up. Because even in like a 5-man, you get like 10, and it's like cool.
And it's a page per cast, right? Or is it like a certain number of casts?
A page is 20 casts, so it's not that bad. But
you're right. Like 20 minutes later, out of pages.
Yeah. So its intended purpose is even still just terrible. But that's a certified Iron Man issue. For mains, I imagine it's not a problem at all because you can just go to the GE and buy them. I'm sure they're worth like basically nothing. Let's see. Yeah, so old pages are 1200 GP. Just go get some.
It's easy. Just buy them.
Fortunately, it's not a particularly insanely useful item. It's basically like, oh, I'll equip this when I'm attacking metallic dragons with earth spells, I guess.
How often are you doing that?
Not very often. I have been doing it somewhat frequently, actually, because I keep getting like iron and steel dragons tasks, and it's like not that many. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just like go kill them. And earth spells is better than my DHCB against metal dragons. So I've been using it with my Kodai, and it's like, okay, cool, I guess. But yeah, that happened. I got some of the pink seeds, the huasca seeds. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to pronounce that.
Probably. Sounds about right.
That's why I was actually at Huey, honestly. I just wanted some of the little pink circles. Those things are great. Make some of those prayer regen potions. And then I was at Grotesque Guardians for 55 kills, and I got the Granite Ring, so I have everything but Pet and Jar there now in like 91 kills.
That's crazy.
Which is kind of crazy. Beyond that, not a ton happening. I've gotten some armor and weapon seeds at Gauntlet. Nothing new there. Still waiting for that second enhanced weapon seed. We're over rate for 2 now. Fucking about average. I have 2 pets and 1 enhanced weapon seed in 831. My endless ability to get more pets than enhanced weapon seeds at that fucking activity.
Doing great, brother.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Oh, there was one other thing I did during bingo that I want to briefly mention that I don't think you guys are interested in, but I don't know. At the beginning of bingo, before bingo, on that Thursday before bingo started, the Monster Hunter Wilds beta dropped. And holy shit, I'm so fucking excited for that game. The beta was great. That fucking game is amazing. I don't think either of you are interested in Monster Hunter, so I won't fucking go on about it. But
I like Monster Hunter, but I've not played the beta. I've heard the beta is an old build of the game, and it's like just chunking people's PCs because it's not great. But I've heard the optimizations look good.
Optimizations look good. So I played it at PAX when they had the PAX demo at PAX West. So I had already played it once. I sat in a 4-hour line to play that demo. And then this was basically the same demo, but just with obviously an extended time period and a little bit more that you could do. I don't have the greatest PC ever. I run an Intel Arc A770, which is one of their actual graphics cards, which is equivalent to somewhere around like a 2070, which some people were saying they weren't able to even run the game with like 30 series graphics cards, to which I say skill issue. I wasn't getting insane frame rates. I'm not gonna say I was getting like perfectly smooth, but it was like somewhere in the 50 frames per second range with dips down to 30 with an essentially 2070. I don't know what the fuck people are doing, man. It wasn't that bad. And like there was all the like weird polygon fighting team looking models that people were getting. I think that's a CPU issue. I think if your CPU's not fast enough, it's not going to be able to load it into memory quick enough, but I'm not sure. That's kind of just me pulling shit out of my ass. But a lot of people with like 40 series cards were saying that their machine wasn't able to run it. And I have to wonder if that's because they're secretly running a dog shit CPU. Because a lot of people will leave out information like that. They'll be like, "Yeah, I got a $2,000 PC," when actually they built it in like the year 2000 and it cost $2,000 then.
Yeah, it seems like the 4080 should be able to run anything at this point, you know?
Yeah, no. But it was really good. It was really fun. I won't continue talking about it.
Well, good. I'm excited for its
I'm
release.
so goddamn excited.
Now that I'm maxed, you see, I don't have an obligation to play RuneScape anymore, and I'm actually like, this is the weird part, right? This is where I'm feeling a little uncomfortable.
I think I know exactly where you're going.
I don't have to play RuneScape anymore. This is great. For some fucking reason, I kind of want to play RuneScape.
Yeah,
that's the cool part.
And I'm like, for months, I was like, "Oh, dude, fucking Stardew Valley, Helldivers, Halo. I'm so excited." And I'm like, but I could work on getting all my armor, though, because my big money goal for 2025 is all 3 of the best in slot sets, you see.
That's the great part about not being tied down to something in RuneScape, is the game's more fun when you can just do whatever you want. Who'd have thought?
You know, it really is. And it feels so good. It is. I'm sure I'll gush about it more on the show. On my show, I guess. The other show, my other family. But I don't know, man. I will never do a time locked goal again. If Guthix rest folks out there, if you don't listen to XP Waste and you've not endured my misery of time locked goals, I beg you, do not ever put a timer on a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You can say like, yeah, I kind of want to max this year, right?
I'm kind of there with next year. I think next year I might max. We'll see.
But there's a difference between I think I can max this year in January and you just casually work towards max. It's very different to be like, I need to max by this day. I have to max by this day. Even with an extension of a couple of months because RuneFest got delayed, it was still a miserable experience. You know, the pressure, or at least the perceived pressure of like having to get an Infernal Cape that year, it just felt so fucking bad, you know? And I think now that it's done, I do not care. I have an Infernal Max Cape, and as such, nothing left to prove. There will be no time gates for Blorva or a Fang Kit or a Verzik Helm or a Zuck Helm. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to get it done, you know?
Respect.
I think longest term goal is Zuck Helm, but we'll get there. Because we got a long way to go before we break into that bitch. But
yeah. That's one of those things that I don't know if I'll ever get, just because some of those CAs are just miserable.
Very hard.
Some of them are miserable.
They're hard. It's
Some
just
of them
that
are very
they're
hard.
miserable. It's like,
and I hate how so many of them too, especially in the GM tier, require you to have like essentially a whole team of GMs to do the content with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. It's meant to be like, it's an MMO. You're meant to be able to do, if you're a GM, you should be able to do content with other GMs at a competent level. But when someone else dies in a perfect raid or something where you're required to have, you know, no deaths, that feels bad because like it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong there. I don't know. It's kind of stinky.
You know, in that way, I kind of get it, especially when going for like the perfect CM5 man. Like that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
You know, for me personally on my account, there are so many things that I thought were not possible that I have not only done, but exceeded in a way that I did not think would ever be a thing. I'll have a Zuck Helm one day. It might take me like 3 years, but I'll have a Zuck Helm one day. I'm not worried about it. You know, we'll get there when we get there. And that's my new outlook on this fucking game. We'll get there when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not time locking shit. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, it's so nice just to know that you can do whatever you want now. Like, there's nothing Like, if you want, you could go just be a raids bot for the rest of your RuneScape career. Or you could...
I'm excited to raid off into the sunset because
Yeah.
I want my Sanguine Dust and I want my Scythe kit and I want another Holy kit because the stupidest Fashionscape item that I want for absolutely no good goddamn reason is a Holy Rapier. As a Saber Fencer who loves to do hard content in RuneScape, I want a Holy Rapier
I
real
want the Holy
bad.
Sang,
But I need to
dude.
buy
I
a
want the owl
Rapier
staff.
and then get another kit. I currently have my Holy kit on my Scythe, so I have the Fortnite pickaxe.
Let's go.
But once I get the blood kit, I'm gonna put it on the Sang staff that I don't own right now, and then the next one I get will go on the Rapier that I don't own. So
I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I didn't know the Holy Rapier was a thing. I just had to look this up. It looks so...
A lot of
it's
people don't
the
know about
only
it.
change. The only change is the guard goes from silver to gold. And
Yeah.
honestly, as a Saber Fencer, all of my guards are silver. So a normal Rapier would probably look better, but I can't flex on the RuneScape hose with a regular Rapier, you know?
You know, true. You know, we talked a little bit of non-RuneScape stuff. I have some non-RuneScape stuff I guess I could talk about a little bit.
Ooh.
He didn't play the monster in a while, so he missed peak.
I not my kind of game, honestly. I went and touched some grass last Sunday. I was asked to help DM a event at my local game store, a D&D 5e 2024 thing. And we had 3 DMs for this event. We were expecting a lot of people to turn up. We had 2 players show up.
Oh no.
2 players.
What did you end up doing?
So the guy that was running the event and myself ended up just being players for this, which
Mhm.
is a little bit of a problem because you know, we knew ahead of time what goes on in this module, but you know, we were both experienced DMs. We can not be shitters about that. And we just ended up running 1 table. But it does feel a little bad because it's like a paid event, and there was, I think, 9 people said on the Discord that they were going to show up, and we expected a few more past the 9 that said they were showing up. And the fact that only 2 people, neither of which said they were going to show up in the Discord, showed up.
You should blacklist all the people that said they were going to show up on Discord. Fake fans.
Yeah, it just feels a little bad. And I was supposed to, you know, get paid. Not a lot, but you know, a little bit of money, which would have been nice. And then I didn't get any money for that event. It was still fun. We had a good time with it. And then just been doing a lot more Magic the Gathering. Magic's fun.
Yeah, nerd.
I have a good time with that.
If I had more money, I would get into Magic the Gathering. I've heard that it is an incredibly expensive
Yeah.
but very fun hobby, and I just do not have the funds at my current job to be able
I was
to
about
do
to say,
that.
you don't have to play expensive, but I play like extremely casually, so that is why
Yeah.
it's not expensive.
So I used to play in high school. I think I've talked about this on Guthix Rest. I played in high school, where Commander, which is the format we mostly play now, wasn't really a thing. It did exist. They were starting to come out with like the Commander precons at that point, but for the most part, the formats people played were like standard and modern, which means nothing if you don't play Magic, which is fine. But those are like competitive constructed formats where you have 60 card decks, you have 4 ofs of every card that you want, and you play to win. That's the point of those formats. But for Commander, it's 1 ofs, you have a 100 card deck, it's very casual. We have a friend that plays Pauper Commander, and none of his decks are more than like $50. Even when he's not playing a Pauper deck, he still makes all of his decks like extremely budget.
I still can't fucking believe he was like, yeah, you should take Soul Ring out of your decks, and then told me to buy him 2 fucking Swiftfoot boots. Fucking bastard.
Yeah, so you can play pretty cheap decks, but I have 3 decks currently. I technically have a 4th, but I don't use it. I think each of those decks are just under $200. So I have about $600 in cards, which is expensive.
Yeah, all of my decks are below $100.
Really, all of them are below 100.
Every single one.
The fact that you have multiple decks under $100 still tells me like right now ain't the time for me to get into
Nah,
Magic.
I think one of my
I'm sure
some
the
of my
game
decks is
will
like
be
$40
around
bucks.
for the next couple of years.
Yeah, if you okay, when I say my decks are $200 around, the thing is I buy precons, which are about $40, but their value, the value of all the cards
Yeah,
usually
that's
ends
true.
up being like $80 to $100. So like I get like a
Okay.
free quote unquote extra $40 to $50 whenever I buy a precon.
Nerd math.
And then I add like, yeah, this is nerd math, like the
Girl math.
guy math.
the actual-
it's free
The
money.
actual market value of my cards ends up being like
Yeah.
around $100. The amount I
Yeah, I'm not
paid is usually
spending-
significantly less.
Yeah, I'm not spending too much. One of my decks I've kind of balled out a little bit on, but my other two are budget-ish friendly.
I think I've spent more money on like peripherals like playmats, deck boxes, and stuff like that than I have on actual cards, just because I like that shit. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I spent more money on my custom card sleeves than I think I've spent on cards themselves. But
I'm
That's
in it for
wild.
the
I
fashion.
enjoy
I'm in it for the
having-
fashion, brother.
listen, I have Guthix Rest themed sleeves.
So cool.
That's sick.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
very cool. Do I have that picture at hand I can post?
It's an IRL stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it might be. If you scroll up a little
Oh,
bit
no,
in
it's not.
IRL. No.
I just scrolled up to
Oh, you know
last
what?
year.
I did see. You're right. I did see
I
those.
forgot to
Actually.
post
Other
my,
games?
my pumpkins. In,
It might be in other games, or I might have just put it in Guthix Rest because I'm a shitter and I don't know how to use my own Discord.
Ugh, you need some moderation in this Discord.
Okay, I'm just putting it in the Guthix Rest chat
Damn.
because for some reason, I can't put it in the broadcasting chat like a normal person.
Repost.
Yeah, Guthix Rest, a gnome child, and then an inside joke for my
It's so
sleeves.
dumb. It's so dumb. It's so I'll kind of explain the inside joke there. That movie just sucks. It's just a bad movie that we all watched in high school. So it just,
I didn't
it's
even
just
see it in
become a
high
meme.
school. I wasn't required to,
That sucks.
but
You missed
Yeah.
out.
I did miss out on.
And clearly,
peak.
you missed a very formative experience with the boys. Holy.
Yeah, everyone else, they've joked about it so long in the Discord that now it's an inside joke with me
It's
too, and I
just-
wasn't
it's
even
just-
involved.
Bad, dumb movie.
Yeah,
I think that was in Arthurian Legend. I don't remember which class that was.
yeah. I took Myth and Legend instead of Arthurian Legend.
Sword of the Valiant. I've never seen it.
Don't.
Not good.
Honestly, it's
not
not a
missing
good
out.
movie. If you want like a kind of fun, like it's not even that fun bad. It's just, it's not a very good movie.
Is it like a serious movie that you can't take seriously?
Yeah, it's a serious movie that it's not. You cannot take that shit seriously at all.
Mm.
I will say it took me forever to find a high quality photo of the movie poster
It's not surprising.
because the like one person that was uploading high quality versions of it also was like what's the term? They were putting like watermarks on it.
Oh,
Why
This
would
is
you
like,
put watermarks
why?
on a movie poster you don't own?
I don't know.
That's
So-
insane behavior.
Yeah, I was able to find like someone that had removed the watermarks from it, so it's not like a perfect version, but you can't tell at the scale the cards are, so it doesn't really matter.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then the Guthix Rest and the Gnome Child one, I just photoshopped myself. Like that Guthix Rest one has my favorite forest art as the background because I just like it.
and the other one's space. The James Webb or whatever telescope.
Yeah, James Webb with the Gnome Child behind it. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it reminds me of all those early 2000s memes.
Mm-hmm. That was the
The
inspiration
space, the
for
space background on the Gnome Child was definitely a vibe.
it. Yeah, I remember seeing a meme that was like, born too early to explore
Oh yeah.
the world, or born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the cosmos, born just in time to post dank memes, and it was like
That's a
basically
classic.
that exact photo of the Gnome Child, and so I just like recreated it as best I could.
Love it.
Anyways, I think we're done here. I'm getting the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
the
think it
vibe
might
that
be time to get
we're
back
fucking
to-
done here.
It might be time to get back to bingo. Boys.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It might be time to get back to bingo. We have teams
Yeah.
waiting for us.
We do
I
have
go
teams
take a
waiting.
nap.
Appreciate you guys for having us on. Take a nap right
Take a
here.
nap. I'm dying.
Good night.
Yeah, nice little. Oh, we went for 2.5 hours. I was gonna say under 2 hours, but no, we went a
that's
little
impossible.
longer than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't 4 this time, so you know. Yeah, I do appreciate you guys having us on. Glad we were able to do it. A little bit of a mid bingo break to do some more AFK tiles, and also we don't have to edit this week, so
Let's
love it.
go.
Absolutely love
Hell
it.
yeah.
Always love not having to edit during bingo.
Yeah,
Appreciate
speaking of
you
editing, I
boys.
apologize to everybody that has to edit this audio. I've been having the same issue that I had earlier, where it's like your mic just randomly peaks for no reason. Don't know why.
Unfortunate.
Womp womp.
So have fun with that.
Yeah, it's probably me editing this, honestly. I'm not gonna make Michael suffer through 4 tracks right after bingo.
Good if you wanted to.
I've been enjoying editing, honestly, which is weird.
He's so back.
I'm so back.
Oh baby, we're so back.
Just needed a break, right?
I think that the big thing,
I just needed a break,
as
I
I've said
think.
before, I think it's the backlog, the responsibility of the backlog really weighed you down. It was the same for me.
Yeah, probably, honestly.
And now that you've just decided that you don't give a shit, it's fine.
I have removed my artificial shackles from myself and I am free.
The episodes that never were.
It is also the fact that I'm not working a bazillion hours anymore. I have put my foot down on that. No more 12-hour shifts. No
Yeah,
more
shit's fucking
working back to back to back doubles.
I
It's
don't know how you
truly
did it.
freeing. I don't know how I did it at the time either. It was rough.
He's simply built
He
different.
is simply
Constructed unlike any other,
Alternatively
you know?
assembled.
Built different, like incorrectly, I think.
Anyways,
All right.
thanks
And
for
with
coming on,
that-
guys.
Thank
Is
you
there
for
anything you
having
wanna
us.
say?
Love you both. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Good luck in bingo.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you.
Actually, get your thumbnail. Just kidding.